Good. My name is Matt Foley, and I am a mathematics tutor. Let me start this training video off by giving you a scenario of what my life is all about. Okay, first off, I am 16 years old. I am very single, and I live in a van down by the river. Now, today's episode of Motivational Teaching is based on the product and quotient rules for differentiation. And I'm here to tell you that if you don't use these rules, you won't amount to jack squat. You'll end up living on a steady diet of government cheese and living in a van down by the river. So let's jump into this, shall we?
Y equals the quantity x squared plus 2 times the quantity x to the fifth minus 3.
Now, most of you Nimrods would try to take the derivative of each term before multiplying. If you did this, you would end up failing calculus and living in a van down by the river. Now, you're probably asking, well, Matt, how do I get myself back on the right track? It's simple. You do this.
d dx of f of x times g of x equals f prime of x times g of x plus g prime of x times f of x.
Now, this hairy statement just says that you multiply the derivative of the first quantity with the original second, then you add that to the original first quantity multiplied by the derivative of the second quantity. For the mathematically impaired, I've made an example to show you.
Y prime equals 2x times the quantity x to the fifth minus 3 plus the quantity x squared plus 2 times 5x to the fourth.
Take note that this was labeled y prime. If you don't label it y prime, you'll end up living in a van down by the river. Now, after that, you're just going to simplify this equation using your algebra skills.
First, you have to expand by multiplying each term. Then you have to combine like terms until you get your answer. Y prime equals 7x to the sixth plus 10x to the fourth minus 6x.
Next, here's an example of the quotient rule.
Y equals x to the third plus 3x over x squared minus 4x.
Now, I'm going to tell you a brief story about a student who decided to derive each term and then divide. She failed her AP test, she failed high school, she failed at her job, and she ended up living in a van down by the river. Now, to prevent a sequel to this story, you'll have to follow this rule.
d dx of f of x over g of x equals g of x times f prime of x minus f of x times g prime of x all over g of x squared.
Now, I know this looks as painful as stubbing your pinky toe on a door frame until it bleeds, but take my word for it that it is. First off, you have to take the bottom quantity and multiply it by the derivative of the top quantity. Then you subtract that by the derivative of the lower quantity multiplied by the original top quantity. You take all of that and you put it over the quantity of the bottom squared. Here is what your broken toe should look like.
Y prime equals quantity x squared minus 4x times quantity 3x squared plus 3 minus quantity of x cubed plus 3x times the quantity 2x minus 4 all over the quantity x squared minus 4x squared.
Now you just have to simplify using your algebra skills that you should have learned in 8th or 9th grade if you weren't too busy living in a van down by the river.
First, you have to multiply your terms, then you have to distribute the negative, and then you simplify to get your answer y prime equals x to the fourth minus 8x cubed minus 3x squared over the quantity x squared minus 4x squared.
Well, la-dee-da! You have now reached the end of this motivational teaching video. If you have any further questions, you can email me, Matt Foley, at formermotivationalspeaker@gmail.com, or if you don't own a computer, you can visit me in my van down by the river.